Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing a top 5 video. We're going to be counting down now that The Walking Dead Season 5 is over. I'm going to be going over what I think are the top 5 best episodes from the season. Okay, and spoiler warning for anyone who has not seen all of The Walking Dead Season 5 yet. So this was a viewer-requested topic. People wanted to hear me basically rank every episode from The Walking Dead Season 5. But because we have 16 episodes, that's a lot. And it's really hard to say, it's really tough to say, which episode's better than another. You're comparing things. You're having to choose which one's the best, which one's, not so good, the worst, Because there's so many things that happen in each episode, and the story is, ongoing, that it's difficult to pick out which ones you thought were the best. I do my reviews right after I watch the episode, and I'm not really comparing. I'm rating the episode as a whole and how much impact it had on me after watching it, the events that occur throughout the episode, and the minus moments too also have an effect on the score. If there's a lot of minus moments, but at the end you have something huge, it can affect kind of where I place it in terms of others. So these for me are like my top 5 highlight episodes for the season, my top 5 best, the ones that impacted me the most are the ones that I would go to watch again if I'm going to rewatch the season over, and which ones I think are the best. We're also factoring in here that premieres, mid-season finale, mid-season premiere, finale should be big episodes, right? So if they're just decent but they're finale, then a lot of people are going to be disappointed. A lot of people are not going to be satisfied. We need to factor in that the placement of the episodes throughout the season in our list here when we're comparing. So this is difficult. This is difficult to do, right? To make a list out of 16 episodes with so many different events occurring all the way through the season, different character concentrations, which ones were delivered the best. So this is my list. These are the way I view it. Seen the season over, probably each episode a few times. Probably going to watch it again, before my vacation's over, to be honest, because I'm thinking about doing a review for the overall season and kind of, step by step, which episode, and giving my thoughts on each one as we go through. So stay tuned for that if you guys are interested for that. This one, just highlight the top 5 best of the season. So for me, this is how it's going to go. There's a lot of episodes, it's really tough to decide, but here's my top 5. At number 5, I'm going to go with the mid-season finale, Coda. Now, this is an episode a lot of people were disappointed with. I saw it. I saw the kind of the backlash in comments and everything like that because we had been hyped up so much by the start of the season, I feel like. Season 5 had an amazing start, man. Probably the best season start we've ever had in The Walking Dead. If you look at the first few episodes in a long season of 16 episodes, man, it got us going at the beginning, that's for sure. It started off with a huge bang. Coda, mid-season finale, still had some big things happen, though. We got to see Rick and kind of his mental attitude towards others and kind of where he's at this time, which is probably my favorite thing about it. Probably my favorite scene of the episode is when Rick literally just runs over the officer, Bob. He just runs him over. He tells him to stop. Bob won't stop. He just literally runs him right over and then executes him cold-blooded without even seemingly to be, distraught by what he did. He just, like a machine, just executes the guy. In addition to that, so that was a huge highlight, from the season. In addition to that, we had the stuff with Beth, really tense upon watching it through, not sure what's going to happen, Dawn and that, getting to see Atlanta, you have kind of the standoff at the end, Dawn gets killed, you have Beth who kind of foolishly gives up her life for Noah, who doesn't even survive anyway in the long run. Maybe it'd been better if they had just given him over, to be honest with you. But that said, she did what she thought was right at the time, and you can't fault her character for that. Do like her character a lot more in the end than I did earlier on. Earlier on in the series, hated Beth, hated her pretty much all the way through, up to about season 5, when, especially after a character's killed, it's difficult to still hate them. It's difficult to feel negatively about them. Same thing happened with Lori. When we see her suffering at the end and she's killed off, it's like, yeah, she was a bad wife. I hated her early on, but, you kind of feel it's difficult to hate somebody who's going through so much pain and who's killed off, even in the real world or whatever, someone dies or something. It's hard to keep hating them after, that happens. It's just a normal psychological thing to not think ill of the dead, right? So it was pretty epic, though, and people were disappointed. But we got to see some awesome stuff in terms of environments and character dev with Rick and that. And yeah, I thought it was really exciting. Even though the shot of Beth, you guys have seen the videos I've talked about how the angle didn't make sense. There were some little things, but hey, you know what? We'll let it slide. Whatever. It was still pretty good episode. It should be on the list, I think, as one of the highlights. Is definitely a big thing that happened in the season. It's the death of Beth, that's for sure. Number 4, I'm going to put Try. Now, this is an episode, the lead up to the finale. We knew they were going to kind of do something pretty big, but this episode for me, man, this did what The Walking Dead, this like showed how good The Walking Dead can be. When they took a storyline from the comic book series that really wasn't that epic, was pretty like, okay, yeah, Rick fights this guy, yeah, okay, then this happens and then he kills. It's like, yeah, it's all right. It's not one of the highlights of the series, right? They took that in Try. They added some awesome Nine Inch Nails music to set the tone. They made it really dark, really gritty. They showed kind of Rick's, his as he says, his screw up, but they showed kind of what extent he's willing to go, not just to protect others, but now that he's gone to that point, even just to fulfill his own selfish desires. You've got those mixed in there in the mixed emotions. A little bit of that feels like selfish desire, and he's acting on it. You get the incredible fight at the end. He throws Pete through the window, and oh my gosh, you got the sound. It's all slow-mo, and you can hear Deanna in the background. She's screaming as they're fighting, and he's choking him, and blood everywhere. And it was one of the highlights of the series for me, for sure, because they took an event that really wasn't that great in the comic book series, elevated it to another level, and showed it to us in what is not a finale episode. It's like a regular episode that was so, man, just goddamn, the way they showed it was so goddamn epic, I would say. So I got to put it at number 4, being that it's just like a lead up to the finale episode, yeah, which we know a lot of times are pretty big, but not a finale episode itself, and really hit home with that emotion, man. Wow, huge stuff. I just that episode had me absolutely buzzing after watching. I was just, oh man, I was so happy with it. That one turned out great. The director who did that, he did a great job, man. That's number 4 for me. Number 3 on the list, I'm going to put the season finale. I'm going to put Conquer. Some people might be surprised I didn't put that at number 1 because you probably think I would. But I have to factor in, this, like I said, with Try, they took a storyline that really wasn't that epic, and they made it more epic with how they did it, right? Conquer is unfortunately kind of an example of not entirely. I'm not disappointed with Conquer. Some people are. I've seen comments for that. Some people were disappointed with the finale. I'm not disappointed, but I'm putting it at number 3 because all these things had been built up all the way through, and the under-delivery of the final scene, which is the best scene of the episode because it's the biggest. It's the reuniting of Morgan and Rick and the death of Peter at the same time. So in terms of writing, it's really well written, and in terms of acting, it was good. But I really felt like they should have done similar to what they did with the fight between Rick and Peter in Try at the end scene. They shoot it all fast, and you've got Deanna tells Rick to do it. As I watched that again, I looked at it, I was like, man, they really could have expanded on this a little bit. They could have used some slow-mo. They could have used some music, some distortion of sound and things like that to deliver it even better. And, and yes, when Morgan says Rick, it is epic when he looks up at him, and it's like they don't even recognize each other. So it's still at number 3 because it's still one of the best episodes. But I do feel like they could have made that episode a little bit better. It was 90-minute, a lot of it felt like kind of a regular season episode, even though getting to see Morgan with the staff was amazing, getting to see him save Daryl, and there were some amazing moments in it because it's a finale and because Morgan's being reunited. But I felt like, especially the end scene, left a little bit to be desired. Had they have shot it like they shot Try, this would be number 1, no question. If they used some more music and just some more tempo and just some more things like that to really capitalize on those big moments. I felt like maybe they could have capitalized on the Morgan moment a little bit better. That said, it's still an amazing episode and everything, probably one of the best of the series. But compared to some of the others, I feel like they could have made it a little bit better than they did. It's just what I would say. So that's number 3. That's Conquer. Number 2 is going to be 4 Walls and a Roof. You want to talk about capitalizing. Now, this is a regular episode. This is the 3rd episode of the season. And this episode really, again, with the, the kind of the feel of the season, as I mentioned, it getting started off with a bang. This is a big part of that. You have the stuff with Terminus and the Hunters going on. And in this part, you have, man, the finale of their little storyline, which could have gone on longer and probably should have, to be honest. But it led to a huge start to the season with, kind of a climax or a finale-worthy episode where you have Sasha, just feeding, Martin shots. She's just feeding him, and it's dark and it's gloomy. It's horrific. It's terrifying as you watch because you don't know who's going to survive, who's going to be killed off. You got Gareth. Rick kills him again with what's going on with Rick and where he's at right now. Man, just absolutely brutal. Brutal end scene, and one that sticks out to me as a highlight for the series, even though it's a regular episode. This is similar to Killer Within in season 3, which is a regular episode, but they do something huge with it. And for me, man, that episode, after I was watching that again, I was just like shaking. I was just so excited from what they did, and just, oh man, it was so incredible. What an awesome episode is Four Walls and a Roof. So because it's just a regular episode, I'm going to put it above Conquer in this one. I'm not saying it's a better episode, compared to like what they did in Conquer, because of course seeing Morgan reunited and all these events is better than seeing Rick and the group killing the hunters. But because this is like a regular episode and what they did with it, 60 minutes, for that episode, that part of the season, I got to rank it higher in this list because it was just, man, incredible episode, just incredible. So that leaves us with number one. Yeah, number one, I'm going to do it now. I'm going to put No Sanctuary at number one. Yeah, I think so. I think you have to, and this is in retrospect now after we've seen the full season, that was about as good of a start of a season you could make. You really couldn't do it any better. You couldn't take that storyline. Also, just you couldn't really make a better premiere than that. Season 2 up until now had the best premiere with what lies ahead, and it was amazing and everything. And this one with Terminus, the action, you got Carol attacking, the explosions and zombies everywhere, and just all kinds of craziness with the group escaping, being saved. And, even to the point where they went to the minute details of bringing in the actor who played Sam from Gotham, he plays the Penguin, just so he can die, just to add the terror, being hit with a baseball bat, just cut. And man, after that episode, I think a lot of people were disappointed with Coda and some of the second half of the first half, the like episodes, you're looking at like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and even in the second half, a lot of those episodes, because No Sanctuary had such a crazy action feel with big things happening, I think a lot of people were disappointed with a lot of the rest because it set it up for such an amazing start. And that's why I would go there. It's tough because you're comparing these episodes to each other, and it's really hard to say which one's better than another because some of them are so amazing, right? I can definitely see if somebody would put Conquer at number one because we just seen it, and the Morgan stuff was really, really good. But the reason why I kind of put it down is because on the list at number 3 is because it's a finale, so it should be amazing to begin with. And I think there's some opportunities that they could have seized which they didn't try, which they didn't use. Four Walls and a Roof left me buzzing, so I put that at number 2. Number 1, No Sanctuary, best premiere ever for sure. Best way you could start a season. And at this point, I think, it's probably the second best episode of The Walking Dead, only next to Too Far Gone, which is still the highlight because it's the end of the Governor stuff, right? So it pretty much has to be. So there's my list. Number 5, Coda. Number 4, Try. Number 3, Conquer. Number 2, Four Walls and a Roof. And number 1, No Sanctuary. That's what I think. Let me know what you guys think about this, what your top 5 best episodes of the season are. Kind of which you thought are your favorite, but also which were the best, considering that some of them are premieres and finales, mid-season finales, and those kind of have to be big to start with. Let me know what your guys are. If you like the video, please thumb it up below. If you want to support the channel, please share it, please favorite it. And if you're new and you want to subscribe, bottom left, all you have to do is click the subscribe to get these videos almost daily. That's it for this one, guys. See you for another one tomorrow. So this is Trev, saying peace.